issues, underlying issues. So I thought it was important to speak out for other people.
Earlier today, I was able to speak to an aide with State Representative Mike Gialombardo's office. She did tell me that hospitals should be giving out vaccines to these exception groups, but she said the reason they may not be doing that is because they've either run out or they're saving those vaccines for second dose shots for others in our community. In Cape Coral, Rochelle Oline, Fox 4.
If you have received the first dose of the COVID vaccine at the Turner Center in DeSoto County, you should be expecting a call soon. The health department also says they're bringing back a waiting list to get the vaccine. So if you meet the requirements, you can call between 8 and 5 Monday through Friday to get on the waiting list. The number's on your screen. It's 863-491-5335. You will be selected at random and someone will call you back to make your appointment. And if you miss the calls, you'll be put back on the waiting list to be selected in the future. For more on coronavirus vaccines in your area, just visit our website, fox4now.com, and look for Southwest Florida vaccine information. You can find it on our homepage. Former state employee tweeting today, quote, "Just learned Congress intends to start investigation into Governor Ron DeSantis' campaign against science and public health, which has caused an immeasurable amount of sickness and death in the state. A good first step toward justice for those who suffered or died because of him," end quote. That was Rebecca Jones, and she also says she also looks forward to testifying and knows other employees who want to testify as well. Staff of the governor's office say they are not aware of any investigation. Let's get a check of your Friday night weather with Chief Meteorologist Derek Beasley. It is still on the chilly side. Chilly, you know, relatively speaking, Derek.
Yeah, cool enough. I mean, even after a pretty nice afternoon, didn't take long, though, after the sun went down for the temperatures to really start dropping across our area. Let's take a look at where we ended up this afternoon. It was a nice day. Temperatures reaching around 70 degrees for most locations after starting off the morning into the 40s and 50s across the region. 72, pretty popular number for LaBelle, Immokalee, Page Field, as well as the Cape down towards Bonita Springs. Planning forecast for tonight and into the weekend looking good. Well, looks like we've got plenty of sunshine expected here for tomorrow, 76, and then getting up close to 80 on Sunday with a few more clouds around. But we're tracking our next round of colder weather, and it looks chillier than the last round we just had. We're going to have your latest forecast through the weekend and into next week coming up.
Sounds good, Derek. President Biden's trying to garner support for his almost $2 trillion COVID aid package. Most Republicans and even some Democrats are having a tough time with the price tag. Jackie Heinrich is on Capitol Hill tonight with the details.
As President Biden is working the phones to sell his $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief plan, Vice President Kamala Harris is making their case in the media, local media, in the home states of two Democratic senators who helped kill a viable but partisan path to pass the bill without Republican support. Harris told one paper in Senator Kristen Sinema's home state of Arizona, "If we don't pass this bill, I'm going to be very candid with you. We know more people are going to die." And in Senator Joe Manchin's home of West Virginia, the vice president also dialed up multiple news outlets after Manchin joined Republicans saying the bill needs reworking, especially over stimulus payments to high-income Americans, urging his party to work with the GOP.
Let's do that first, showing that we can start out the new Congress bipartisan.
Progressives are growing impatient, attacking members of both parties for wasting time with bipartisan talks.
What do these so-called moderates have in common? 3 millionaires who think hardworking Americans don't need major support during these difficult times. Tell President Biden, don't give in.
But Republicans, including one who got a phone call from the president, don't see the urgency. Senator Rob Portman telling Fox it was only several weeks ago that we passed a $900 billion package for COVID relief on a bipartisan basis. It has yet to be implemented. And if we had to get it done yesterday, why didn't they consult with us? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is edging closer to yet another tool, budget reconciliation, which Presidents Obama and Trump both used to pass Obamacare and tax cuts.
We want it to be bipartisan always, but we can't surrender if they're not going to be doing that.
While moderates want to pare things down, progressives want even more. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal is pushing for a $3 to $4 trillion relief package, and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar wants recurring monthly $2,000 checks. On Capitol Hill, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
A Fort Myers Beach man is now sitting in Lee County Jail after being accused of lighting an opossum on fire. A warning to you tonight, the photo you're about to see of the opossum may be difficult to see. Deputies say Brian Warner is the man who abused the animal. They found the opossum burned alive inside of a metal trap. Deputies say a long string was attached to the trap. Following the string led them to a bottle of acetone and a grill lighter. The animal was taken to a local vet where it later died. U.S. Marshals in Cleveland, Ohio say this man, Christian Prince, was found in their city after going on the run from Southwest Florida. He's been wanted in Lee County for almost 2 weeks now. Prince is being charged with 1 count of lewd or lascivious battery against a 15-year-old girl. What's in the water? One organization says there's indication of fecal bacteria in some areas of Southwest Florida. Fox 4's Shari Armstrong shows you why they say government agencies should do more to notify you before you hit the water.
One benefit to living in Southwest Florida is life on or near the water. And while we often think of beaches when we think of Florida, one organization says more needs to be done so you know what's in some of our other waterways.
There should be signs there warning the public of that.
John Cassani of Colusa Waterkeeper says more signage should be posted near water with high levels of fecal indicating bacteria, specifically Enterococci bacteria. The Department of Health says the presence of enteric bacteria is an indication of fecal pollution, which may come from stormwater runoff, pets and wildlife, and human sewage. Cassani tells me when testing waterways, the most probable number 70 is a threshold, indicating safe levels of the bacteria in the water. The Florida Department of Health uses that indicator to determine the safety of our beaches, but Cassani says other inland waterways like lakes or small streams don't get diluted by the Gulf of Mexico.
And that's where there's a problem with public health risk from this bacteria.
Colusa Waterkeeper recently tested 18 locations for Enterococci bacteria. Some in Fort Myers indicate much higher levels, with Manuel's Branch at more than 4,000 and Billy's Creek at 10,462 just this month. Last month, the city said the creek was tested and there'd be no trace of human waste, but Cassani says his team traced their own findings and their results show
that there is human influence in some of that bacteria.
Cassani says signage like this one that's now up near Billy's Creek should be placed near other waterways with elevated concentrations of the bacteria too, like Tropical Point Park in St. James City, where people sometimes go to wade or launch a kayak. We reached out to Lee County today. In a statement, they said, quote, test results give a snapshot of conditions at the time that the test is taken. Bacteria can come from a number of sources, including human contributions caused by deteriorated or obsolete septic systems. Other sources can include bird or animal waste and stormwater runoff. Cassani says if you'd like to see more signage at locations like these,
that, talk to your legislator and tell them you want to see the Florida Department of Health funded in a way that enables adequate risk signage at these public access points that have high fecal bacteria levels.
Shari Armstrong, Fox 4.
And you can read more from Colusa Waterkeepers and find our coverage on Billy's Creek when you head to fox4now.com. Tonight, we're taking a minute to sit down with Mayor Kevin Anderson of Fort Myers as he approaches 100 days in office, what plans he has for the city. It is opening night for the Charlotte County Fair, why organizers went ahead with a fair taking place in the middle of a pandemic. The Fort Myers mayor's first 100 days in office is almost in the books. In this week's Minute with the Mayor segment, Mayor Kevin Anderson shares his specific plans for the city for the next 6 months. Fox 4's Rachel Lloyd has the details.
You are now at your 3/4 mark through your first 100 days in office. And I know in the beginning you talked about creating these 3 different task forces for housing, homelessness, and unity. So first, let's talk about unity. Now, a task force for unity sounds good, but what do you actually set out to accomplish in the next 6 months?
Recommendations that could be made to the city council that can help us address this issue and make things better. All of these problems we're not going to solve, but can we minimize the impact they have on the city?
Unity is such a broad topic. Now, when you talk about unity, are you talking about political unity, unity across racial and ethnic lines, unity across socioeconomic statuses?
There's a divide. How do we narrow that divide? Whether it be with politics or economic opportunities or housing or police community relations, whichever it is, you know, how can we narrow that gap?
When it comes to housing, pretty much the same question. What do you hope to accomplish in the next 6 months? I know a lot of things that you talked about are long-term, you know, raising the wages. That may not come in 6 months to acquire affordable housing, but in the next 6 months, what does better housing in Fort Myers look like? What does the task force actually accomplish?
In 6 months, that's a limited amount of time. What I'm hoping, more so than anything, that the diverse group of people is going to be able to talk through things and maybe bring up things that I don't think of. What I'm saying is we have to look at how we operate, and are we operating in the most effective, efficient manner? Do we have ordinances and codes that are actually working against affordable housing?
And just my last question, you have a homelessness task force that you're putting together. This is an issue that cities across the world have tried to tackle forever. And
thank you for recognizing that.
For sure. I mean, it's not easy. It's a complicated issue. So many factors go into it. In the next 6 months, what are you hoping that your homelessness task force will accomplish?
You know, one thing I hope is that they will all learn how much is being done for homelessness in the county. Now, with that being said, there is a lot being done, but there's a lot more that needs to be done.
Do you have a suggestion in mind or maybe a question you'd like to ask the mayor? Email Rachel at rachel.lloyd@fox4now.com. You can watch the full interview with the mayor on any of your streaming devices. Just search WFTX. Craving fried food, that fair food, the cotton candy, the smells of the Midway? Possibly looking for something to do this weekend? The Charlotte County Fair opened tonight. Organizers say you can experience the entire fair vibe, from shows to games to rides. Things might look a little different this year, of course, but organizers say your safety is priority number one.
We wanted to open and give folks something to do this year to get out of the house, so we made it strictly an open air fair. We've done those things to keep people as safe as possible through social distancing and wearing a mask if they choose to, and having sanitizers if they want.